Viewer discretion advised. The following story delves into the raw, heart-wrenching reality of love, betrayal, and the search for truth, with gripping suspense and emotional depth. The Moment I Knew is a journey through the unraveling of a seemingly perfect marriage. This tale is crafted to keep you on the edge of your seat, but please be aware that themes of infidelity and emotional turmoil may resonate deeply. Buckle up for a roller coaster of emotions where every chapter reveals a new twist and a new reason to question what you thought you knew about love. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on the notification bell to get the latest updates on infidelity tales. Also like and share this video so that it can reach a wider audience on YouTube. So let's continue. I used to think love was worth fighting, for until the day I saw him with her, and my world crumbled in a single glance. My name is Amina, and for 7 years, I believed Kwame was my forever. We met in a crowded coffee shop where he spilled his latte on my favorite scarf and spent the next hour apologizing with that boyish grin I'd come to adore. He was charming, ambitious, the kind of man who made you feel like you were the only one in the room. We fought for each other through late-night arguments, career changes, and the chaos of building a life together. Our wedding was small, but perfect. Vows exchanged under a canopy of fairy lights, promising to weather any storm. I thought we had, until the cracks started showing. Kwame's late nights at the office began piling up about 6 months ago. Client deadlines, he'd say, loosening his tie with a weary smile. I didn't question it at first. He was a graphic designer, always chasing the next big project. But the excuses grew flimsier. Meetings that ran long. Team drinks he couldn't skip. His phone became a fortress. Buzzing with notifications he'd silence before I could glance at the screen. I'd ask, "Everything okay?" And he'd kiss my forehead, murmuring, "Just work, eh? You worry too much." Then came the perfume. It was subtle at first, a faint floral note clinging to his navy blazer. I noticed it one evening while folding laundry, the scent hitting me like an uninvited guest. "Whose perfume is this?" I asked, holding up the jacket. Kwame barely looked up from his laptop. "Oh, probably from Zola's birthday thing at work." Everyone was packed tight at the bar. His voice was smooth, casual, but his fingers paused on the keyboard for a fraction too long. I nodded, swallowing the unease that coiled in my stomach. The next morning, I found myself standing in our bedroom, staring at his side of the closet. I don't know what possessed me. Call it intuition, call it paranoia. But I started checking his pockets, a gum wrapper, a dry cleaning tag, and then in the inner pocket of his favorite coat, a crumpled receipt. My hands trembled as I smoothed it out. Lilv hotel dinner for 2. 142 as R50. The date was last Friday when he told me he was working late. I stood there, the paper shaking in my hands as the room seemed to tilt. "Kwame," I called, my voice sharper than I intended. He poked his head out of the bathroom, toothbrush in hand. "What's up?" I held up the receipt. "What's this?" He squinted, then laughed a little too loudly. "Oh, that client dinner. You know how these things go. Wine and dining to seal the deal. Yeah, me and the client. Come on, Amina. It's just work." His eyes met mine, warm and steady. But there was something else there. A flicker of something I couldn't name. I wanted to believe him. I needed to. So, I let it go, tucking the receipt back into his coat, like it was nothing. But that night, as he slept beside me, I lay awake staring at the ceiling. The perfume, the late nights, the receipt, they were pieces of a puzzle I wasn't sure I wanted to solve. The next week, I became a detective in my own marriage. I noticed things I'd ignored before. The way he angled his phone away when he texted. The sudden errands he ran on weekends. The way his laugh seemed forced when I asked about his day. I started checking our bank statements, telling myself it was just to balance the budget. But there it was. Another charge from Leov. This time for a room. $275 for one night. My breath caught, and I felt the world shrink to the glow of my laptop screen. I didn't confront him. Not yet. Instead, I drove to his office one evening, claiming I wanted to surprise him with takeout. The receptionist, kind woman named Mara, looked puzzled. Kwame! He left hours ago. Said he had a meeting across town. My stomach dropped. I thanked her, drove home, and sat in our driveway, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. That night, I went through his desk while he was in the shower. I wasn't proud of it, but the need to know was a fire in my chest. I found nothing at first, just pens, Post-its, and a half-empty pack of mints. Then tucked beneath a stack of design mock-ups was another receipt. This one was from a jewelry store, a $6,000 purchase for a bracelet. My heart stopped. I hadn't received any jewelry. I slipped the receipt into my pocket, my mind racing. Was it a gift he hadn't given me yet? A surprise for our anniversary? Or was it for someone else? The shower shut off, and I scrambled to put everything back, my hands shaking. When Kwame emerged, towel around his waist, he smiled at me like nothing was wrong. You okay, babe? You look pale. Just tired. I lied, forcing a smile, but inside I was screaming. A picture is worth 1,000 words, but this one shattered my heart in silence. The receipt burned a hole in my pocket for days. I carried it everywhere, unfolding it when I was alone, as if staring at the numbers would reveal the truth. $6,000 for a bracelet. Kwame hadn't mentioned any gifts, and our anniversary was months away. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was for his mother, or a thank you for a colleague. But the perfume, the hotel charges, the late nights, they were threads weaving a tapestry of doubt. I started watching him more closely. The way he'd check his phone at odd hours. The way he'd leave the room to take calls, whispering so softly I couldn't make out the words. One evening, while he was out grabbing coffee with a client, I opened his laptop. We'd always shared passwords. Trust, we called it. But as I scrolled through his social media, my trust began to fray. There it was, buried in his recent posts. A gym selfie. Kwame flexing in a mirror. His grin as familiar as ever, but in the reflection, just out of focus, was a hand. A woman's hand, manicured with crimson polish. A delicate silver bracelet catching the light. My breath hitched. I zoomed in, my heart pounding. The bracelet looked expensive. Too expensive for a casual acquaintance. I clicked through his followers, searching for a clue. That's when I found her, Nia, his college ex. Her profile was public, filled with polished photos. Her laughing at a vineyard. Her posing in a sleek blazer. Her wrist adorned with that same silver bracelet. My stomach twisted. Their interactions were sparse. A like here, a comment there, but they felt deliberate, like a conversation hidden in plain sight. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I lay in bed, replaying every moment of our marriage, searching for the moment it went wrong. Had I been too trusting, too blind? The next morning, I made a decision. I needed proof. I started following Kwame. It felt wrong, like I was betraying the woman I used to be. But the need to know was stronger than my shame. I borrowed my friend Makina's car, a nondescript sedan he wouldn't recognize, and trailed him after work. He didn't go to the office. Instead, he drove to a cafe downtown, one we'd never been to together. I parked across the street, my hands sweaty on the steering wheel. Through the cafe's window, I saw him. Kwame, My Kwame, sitting across from her, Nia, her dark hair cascaded over her shoulders, and she laughed at something he said, her hand brushing his across the table. Then, as if the universe wanted to twist the knife, he reached out and held her hand, his thumb stroking her knuckles. The gesture was so intimate, so familiar, it felt like a punch to my chest. I fumbled for my phone, snapping photos through the window, my hands shaking so badly the images blurred. I didn't care. I needed evidence, something to anchor the betrayal I felt. As I watched, Nia leaned closer, whispering something that made him smile. A smile I hadn't seen in months.